Aloha. So, more with the DNC chair forum. This is not an SNL. So, this is Amala Ekpunodi. I probably butchered that a bit. She might say her name in the video. She is a right-wing commentator. This is not SNL. This is the DNC. So, she's a pro-Trumper, pretty far right. We're just going to watch her go over the DNC chair form and comment on it.
Of hands. I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat?
So I would say it probably had a little bit to do with it, but I don't think that it had enough to do with it that's what caused her to lose.
Do you guys see where my hands are? That's right, they're down. Now, the Democratic Party got together for their Democratic National Committee elections, and you can guarantee they have not learned their lesson about why they lost this last presidential election. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. They have not learned. That's agreed on the whole spectrum, right? Left, center. The Democrats have not learned. They really don't know what they're doing. So if everybody agrees on this, look. Green Party, DSA, now is the time. Now is the time. If everybody agrees that the Democrats are BS, it should be easy.
Today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, the Democratic National Committee gathered together to elect their leadership, including chair and vice chair. And you can imagine what it's like to have a bunch of leftists just stuck together in one.
And they are not leftists. If this was a Green Party committee or forum, it'd have been way different, way civil. The people wouldn't have had to been yelling all the stuff that they were yelling, like about billionaires, climate, or whatever else they were yelling about. They wouldn't have to yell about none of that stuff.
Room. And if you can't, I'll tell you about it because I used to be one and I used to be in rooms just like this. And with the clips that are...
So that shows you that she was not a leftist because she was in rooms just like this. Not a left-wing room, a center-right room, a liberal room.
Circulating online, it went about just as I would expect it to. There was, of course, talk of Donald Trump and losing this last election, of diversity, equity, inclusion, racism, feminism, ableism, and there was even singing. Let's watch clip number 1.
And we'll begin with the opening statements. Each candidate will have 30 seconds, and we'll start with Dr. Quintessa Hathaway.
Good evening, everyone. It is my desire to be the next DNC chair.
One thing I didn't notice is she didn't sit up. She's kind of got this lean on, and her feet are off to the side. And I'm not a real big, what do you call it? Like body reader or whatever, like face reader, like when I forget what they call that. But it just looks like she's not engaged, right? She's just laying over to the side like she don't want to be there.
And I just want to give you all a little bit of something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days.
That's the word.
You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Goodness,
Okay, Quintessa. Time for a nap. What is going on? You are not Cynthia Erivo. You need to sit down and speak to people and explain why you should be the chair. If that is your opening statement, I can guarantee you are not winning the race, even though people are going to applaud you because they feel as though they have to, because that's what we have to do for black women in America these days. I don't think you're winning the race. And guess what? Update, Quintessa did not win DNC chair. It in fact went to a gentleman by the name of Ken Martin. So we will no longer be subjected to that singing. So that's good. But she did have other statements about systemic racism and being black in America. Let's watch.
Racism has not gone away since 20 people of African descent came upon these shores at Jamestown, Virginia in 1619, and it's going to require us to think and behave in a new way. It is systemic, it is structural. When it comes to addressing diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging, that is for all people of the United States. That must come across the voting line as well. This is everyone's America. Our story has a new form of glory that must come to our shores as well.
Y'all, I just heard a whole bunch of nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. And you know what it guarantees? They did not learn their lesson. Identity politics is the reason that the Democrats lost this 2024 election. In fact, there are many other reasons, but it's a law.
Well, see, I would agree with a lot of what the First Lady said, that it's everybody's America, this and that, but she didn't really finish off very strong.
Large piece of the pie here. And what do they go straight back to the minute they're together in a room together to decide who leads them? Racism, misogyny, oppression, identity politics, over and over and over again. It's endless. And it's a playbook that they lean on that is not really going well for them. So maybe we need to switch up the pages a little bit. But the pages will never change because it seems as though Democrats do not have a clear view or clear reasoning as to why they lost this last election. When asked if they feel like racism and misogyny was a primary contributor to their loss, this is how they responded.
In this round, so I'm going to, I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat?
So she was a little bit disingenuous there. She said that they asked, was it a primary reason? No, it was not a primary reason. Was it a reason for some people? One of the reasons some people didn't want to vote for her? Yeah, I'm sure. We have a long history of racism and misogyny in this country, but that doesn't mean that everybody's racist. It doesn't mean that everybody's misogynist. And it doesn't mean that that's what you make your decisions based on the most. But he said, was it a reason? Sure, it was a reason for some people, yes. So just to be honest, you would need to raise your hand. But he did not say primary.
Okay. So that's good. You all pass.
You all passed.
You all passed what? The test for who's going to keep losing elections 4 years after 4 years after 4 years? If so, yes.
So perfect time for the Green Party, DSA, a left-wing coalition to start running. Everyone can see it. Everyone can see it. You can see the two right-wingers so far. And I don't know when these, what order you're going to watch these in, if you watch these at all. But the right-wingers, they speak more truth about the Democratic Party. The left-winger, or not the left-wingers, the left-wingers speak truth about the Democratic Party. The liberals, they speak feelings and hope. Like Kyle, he's got all these feelings and hope that he wants the Democratic Party to change and do different, that he can get up in there and do something. Crystal the same. And it's not going to happen. It's not. Like Sabby, she understands that the Democratic Party is too far gone. They're not going to let the people take them over. And so the same with the right-wingers. They're like, the Democrats are crazy. There's nothing to do about it. They don't say you need to go somewhere else, but they just say you need to stop at the Democrats type of deal. But if you stop at the Democrats, let's go somewhere else. Come to the Green Party.
You most definitely passed. Do you know why people voted for Donald Trump and not Kamala Harris? It's not because he's a white man and she is whatever race she wants to utilize on any given day and because she's a woman. It's because they want a secure border. It's because they want their children's education to be taken seriously. It's because they want their tax dollars to be taken seriously. It's because they want to fight the drug crisis that's happening in America right now. They want Americans to be healthier. They want America to be taken seriously on the world stage. And they didn't think that Kamala Harris was capable of achieving any of those things. In fact, Kamala Harris sat in power as a vice president for 4 years, and what did she do? Just about nothing. And if you look at the people who voted for Donald Trump, you're not just going to see white Americans, you're going to see people of all different colors. In fact, he got one of the most diverse voting bases of a Republican in decades. So if you think that racism...
But again, the bar is on the floor. The most diverse voting base of a Republican, he would have got like 13% black vote or something. Like it's pretty low still. It's more than most Republicans get, but they're still pretty low. It's not, I wouldn't say it was diverse.
And misogyny is the primary driver in Donald Trump winning this last election. You need to recalibrate and get back to us on that. And we wouldn't be in a room full of leftists if we didn't talk about gender. Of course, it's going to get a little...
Again, none of them in there are leftist. None of that is a leftist policy. Look up the Green Party, look up their policy platform. That is a leftist policy platform. Look up the Democrats, look up their policy platform, and then look at the Republicans and look at their policy platform. I bet the Democrat policy platform is way closer to the Republican platform than it is to the Green Party platform. And then, even if it was a little closer to the Green Party platform, are they going to fight for any of that stuff that's closer to the Green Party, or are they just going to talk about it and not be about it?
a little confusing for them because they're going to have candidates that are not only male and female, but non-binary, gender queer, gender fluid, all of these different identities. How are they handling it? Let's see.
The rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race.
Do you want to know how
So again, it's a bit too complicated. Like, you don't have to do all that. I've been to meetings with the Green Party, meetings with the DSA, and there's non-binary, whatever genders and stuff, and you just say, oh, my name, he, her, whatever, he, she, he, him, she, her, then they, whatever, and you just go on. They just, like, it only takes a second to introduce yourself, and then you just keep going. Like, you don't have to do all this stuff. And then from what I heard, or from what I've seen, there's no, like, quotas. Like, you don't have to have 10 men, 10 women, and 5 non-binary. It's just, we're all going to try to run. We're all going to try to do this together. And normally, mostly people do not want to run for Congress, right? Most people don't want to run. And so you get the ones with your same values, principles or whatever, and you push them and help them. You don't really care if they're male or female or whatnot. You care about their issues. And if they think about the issues like you think about, then that's the one. But like, again, a lot of times people don't want to run. So when you do have somebody who's willing to take on the responsibility, especially when it's for the people, if you're somebody like Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, and you're doing it for the money and the power, yeah, you got all kinds of people that want to run for that, but then they're the corporate type of people. They're the Democrats. They're the Republicans. People who are for the people, they just want to do people stuff. They normally don't want to be in office trying to make these big decisions for the entire everybody. But hey, that's what we need now. And again, it doesn't have to be a certain amount of men and women. It just needs to be the like-minded type of people.
We have to elect.
Point of privilege. What do we do if the candidate is a Therian who identifies as a 4-legged wolf? I imagine that's how these things go. Fill me in if it's not.
1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules. To do this,
if the process is inclusive, you shouldn't have to worry about the gender balance. It should kind of work itself out.
Process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week, but I hope you will see that in practice it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed to ensure equal access to the ballot, regardless of gender identity. As we must elect a candidate of any gender as well as 1 male and 1 female vice chair, we will first ask members to elect a candidate of any gender on the first ballot. Any candidate, male, female, and non-binary, can be elected on that ballot. After a candidate is elected on the first ballot, we'll have 1 officer of the 3, so then we will know which position is filled of the 1 male, 1 female, and 1 vice chair of any gender.
Y'all just need to keep coming up with new genders, because you're going to spend half your time on bookkeeping and then the other half on whatever it is you guys are trying to get done. Because I don't know how this is going to continue to work for you if we continue on the gender track that we're on right now, because non-binary is not going to be the end of it. As you can see with those little pronouns on the screen, we got zim, zay, zers. I don't know, guys, but it seems rough out there. And we've seen how these meetings go. In fact, I've been in leftist meetings before where somebody says the wrong pronouns and all of a sudden everything's taken off the tracks and we have to address this.
And so, in a normal place, if you say the wrong pronoun to a zim, zay, zoo, whatever, they'll say, oh, this is my pronoun. And then if you just respect that, okay, like, if you don't know a pronoun and you say the wrong pronoun at first, then what are you going to do? If you say my name wrong, and I say, oh, my name is Jordan, Oh, almost every time I introduce myself to somebody, oh, hi, I'm Jordan. They say George. Every time, George. No, Jordan. But oh, Jordan. I don't get mad. I just slow down, say my name slower so they can hear it. But the first time, I don't want to say my name is Jordan and say it all slow like they're stupid. But just, I guess the way I talk, my voice is really deep. My words kind of mush together. I hear sometimes. So when I say Jordan, people hear George, and I don't get mad. I just say it the second time slower, and I reiterate myself, right? And just enunciate is what I was looking for. I enunciate my word. So Jordan. And they're like, oh, Jordan. I'm like, yes. But they know that if I would have said it slow at first, they might say it slow back. I want to say it at the regular speed, so when they say it the second time, that they get it right.
This point of privilege or.
But again, with the pronouns, if you say it, and even if you say it wrong a few times, as long as you're trying to get it right, probably most people aren't going to get mad. Because if it is a new thing to you, whatever, it's new. Like if you come to Hawaii, you're going to hear names that you've never heard before. You're going to hear Samoan names, Hawaiian names, Asian names, and you're going to get them wrong a lot of times. And they're going to just repeat themselves. And most of the time, they won't get mad at you as long as you're trying. Because why would you get mad at somebody who doesn't know something, but they're trying, right?
Or this oppression point and then move on.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you,
So this says Democratic Socialist of America, which is one of the people I've been boosting. Now, if you have sensory problems like that, I would say you might not want to go to a convention, right? Like, what do you, like maybe do it from Zoom, because it's a crowd of people, and a crowd of people are going to chatter and talk and try to communicate with each other. And I'm just like, if you can't be in crowds, probably don't go to crowds is the most thing I could say.
comrade.
And I think it's going to be the very same thing that happens behind the scenes in some of the clerical work that is required.
Let's see what that lady say to him.
Thank you, comrade.
And I think it's going to be the.
She just let her say thank you, comrade. They didn't show what the solution was. Maybe they had a solution like me. Maybe, oh, we got this room you can go in, and we got a computer that you can Zoom, and then you can be away from the chatter and away from all this stuff that bothers you. But part of the thing is, you want people to be there. You want people to speak and communicate with each other and let each other know what's going down, right? That's the whole point of community or grassroots movement, right? That's what we want. Ground up. Let's talk. Let's do things. So yeah, just saying, if you got sensory problems, then it's kind of something that you need to handle, right? If you can't go out in the sun, then if there's a meeting in the park, you probably don't go to that meeting.
The very same thing that happens behind the scenes in some of the clerical work that is required to run committees like this. And this is a prime example of this sort of ideology. You know, if not setting us back regressively and culturally, setting you back at least a few minutes in trying to figure things out. And if it's not random singing or confusion about non-binary candidates, there is the I am speaking form of leftist that is popping up all over the place after.
Again, not leftist. If you remember, Bernie Sanders is close to the left. He's on the way. And so when the black ladies interrupted his speech that he was giving, I think it was in 2016, it was when he was running against Hillary, he gave them the mic. He stepped back, and that was, I think at the beginning of his rally. He let them speak for like 45 minutes, I think it was. It was at least like a half an hour, if not longer. But that is more the left mentality. You saw when Hillary Clinton was at the White House, and then the black girl came, she was holding a sheet up talking about there's blood on your hands or something. I forget exactly what it said, but Hillary Clinton had her removed. She didn't let her speak and talk. She had her removed. So that's more the right-wing thing. Trump, get him out of here. I'll pay for your fines and stuff like that. That's the right-wing attitude, gone. But the left-wing, we will let you speak. If you Bernie let them speak during his speech. I don't know if you have to go quite that far. You might ask them a couple questions and then speak on what they want. But the left is way more likely to hear out your gripes or your qualms, your worries and whatnot.
Kamala Harris and people like Jasmine Crockett made their way into Washington.
Hey, I am speaking.
And I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me.
See, the Democrats do too much identity politics.
Yes, I am speaking.
I don't even know what to say, guys.
Yes,
I don't even know what to say. You know, maybe I'm getting very biased clippage. Is that even a word? I don't know. From this DNC meeting, and I'm just seeing the very worst of it. But if this is what's happening behind the scenes from y'all need to do a little workshop on getting things right, on making less stuff like this take place. But it's
Speaking of biased clippage, that's why I go through a bunch of different sources to see the different clips they use, because a lot of them have been the same, but you'll notice the two right-wing ladies, they've showed a lot of the arguments, and then some of the other people have showed some arguments, but Sabby, the more left-wing person, she showed more of the question and answers and less of the arguments. I don't even think she showed the arguments.
It's because you've been infiltrated with identity politics and it's at the very center of everything you do that you're having conversations like this. Everything is going to be diverted down the lane of talking about identity politics and random singing and saying I'm a black woman and I need to be listened to because you've placed your priorities in the wrong areas when it comes to the issues that you guys are focusing on. And when everybody feels
That's true, but the wrong areas if you're progressive. It's the right areas for the Democrats because they're not progressive. They want to keep the system as it is. They want to keep their power how they have it.
Marginalized all in one space, all in one time for all different reasons. And then we mix in a little bit of intersectionality where people are trying to play their different points of privilege or disadvantage against one another. Everybody deserves the mic. Everybody deserves to have their story heard. Everyone deserves to be listened to and to say, I am speaking and I'm a black woman on this stage. And you can just take the black out of that sentence and trade it out for any marginalized identity, and suddenly everybody deserves the floor.
But everybody does deserve the floor, even if you're a white man. All people deserve the floor a little bit. I mean, you can't have the whole floor, but you deserve your portion or your percentage of the floor. Your speech.
Speaking of deserving to be heard and deserving the
and that's what free speech is. That's what the First Amendment is that everybody can have their say, right?
floor. They literally talk about who deserves the floor in a land acknowledgement before they proceed into actually discussing the topics of their meeting.
Welcome. The Democratic National Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded.
So like how I said, instead of just saying something, doing something, we should speak the whatever the top Native American language was in whatever area. They should teach that in all the schools in that area. And then, like, you call it a dead language or not, like, revive the language. If every American spoke at least one Native American language, that would be a little bit of something, right? And then have Native Americans, instead of putting them on reservations and putting them to the side, there should be at least one Native American teacher at every school that teaches Native American culture, right? Teaches how they planted corn and different plants and whatnot, how they cultivated animals, did different things, right? How they made things, and so people who want to learn about the culture, like as a kid, you need some of that stuff, right? You need to know how to plant, you need to know how to kill animals, eat stuff, and hunt. I mean, you don't need to know that, like we're in the West, but like if something goes down, it's helpful to have that. But if you want to live more of a, not say rugged life, but like a natural life, whatever you want to live on a farm or on the water. Not on the water, in the woods, on a river is what I was thinking. But like you want to live somewhere kind of desolate if you want, or even if you want to live by people and go hunting and stuff. If you know the Native American way, then you know the white man way, then say a Polynesian way. Like I'm in Hawaii, so I think about Polynesians a lot. But there's all kinds of different ways to hunt, right? So teach the culture. That's way better. Like if we took Native Americans and said, hey, would you like to come into our schools and teach your language, teach some of your culture so our kids can be multilingual? Why can't we speak 4, 5, 7 languages like the people out of Europe, people in Africa, people in South America? Almost everybody speaks 2 to 5 languages. Like even most people speak more than 2. I don't know about most people, but most people that I've met from outside of the U.S. speak 3 or more languages. Most people don't even just speak 2. They speak a few languages.
Through many centuries by the ancestors and the descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on indigenous lands.
Assalamu alaikum.
And hope.
I gotta ask, what does this accomplish? Literally, what does this achieve to acknowledge the land that you're standing on and who walked on it before you did? In my eyes, literally nothing. But this is what the DNC...
Right, because they didn't do nothing. If they're like, oh, we acknowledge the people that were here before us, and what we're going to do is, like I said, do an education thing. Show how they live. Show us how to cook like they did. Like, do this from youth, from preschool, from kindergarten, all that. Teach them languages, teach our kids languages so that we can be multilingual. And when you already know 3 or 4 languages, it's easier to learn more languages as you get older because there's patterns and things to it. It's like math. Like if you know math real well, then you learn algebra early. It's easier to go into the other maths and sciences and things, like if you learn it early.
And the Democratic Party does. They play into these identity politics and these marginalized identities, and then they subsequently do nothing for those individuals. I gotta tell you guys, these baseless acknowledgments or calls to oppression or systemic problems achieve absolutely nothing. And instead of doing all these random acknowledgments and wasting the time of everybody that's coming together for this meeting, why don't you just get actual work done for the people that you're claiming to acknowledge? Yes. And we'll see if they do get any actual work done. Of course, I've already acknowledged that they've chosen.
Okay, so that's the difference in the Green Party. We do grassroots movement. We feed the poor, have gatherings, do like town halls and stuff. And so we got a 50-state strategy that we're gonna do, and we're gonna do a whole lot more. We're gonna start building food forests around low-income housing, around low-income schools, and then move on to all schools. All kids deserve fresh fruit, whether they're low income or above. But like, jackfruit trees could feed the world. There's all kinds of things that we can do, and we just need to start doing. And that's what the Green Party, we're going to start doing. I want to say right now, but within the next couple months, we just got to get little things organized right now. But we've got to push for getting YouTubers to start talking about us. We got to push to start getting people to join the Green Party. We got to push to get the Green Party people to fill the ballot. We need to get people to start running. But we need to take over the progressive left-wing ideology movement, because it's not the Democrats. The Democrats aren't the business. They're not it. They're not left-wing. They're not progressive. They are center-right at best.
Their chair, but they've also chosen their vice chair, which is going to be David Hogg. You'll remember David Hogg from the Parkland shooting. He was running around doing press hit after press hit after press hit after that tragedy took place. And now he finds himself as the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. Let's watch a little bit of what he had to say.
Are you ready to go on the offense? Yeah! Are you ready to go on the offense? Yeah! We have to win back our young people. I am the only candidate in this race for any of these positions that is under 30. We had a 20-point shift to the right of our young people. We must show our young people we give a damn about them, that we...
Had he done his activism in the Green Party and helped build the Green Party, so much more good would be done. Like, the people behind him, I don't know who they are, but if they're like with him and on his team, they'd probably be in the Green Party, and they would be like helping build and be running for stuff. You got one guy in the Democratic Party with people behind him trying to help him change the Democratic Party, which will not change. Why not go to the party? All these people that just get pushed out the Democratic Party over time, why not just go to the party that would accept you, keep you, and build there? That makes sense to a sane person. To go to a party that will just abuse you and kick you out and leave you, like Crystal Ball said, Joe Biden, like going to Joe Biden is like going back to an abusive spouse. They're just going to do the same thing, but then after she said that, she's going to tell you to go vote blue no matter who. So she's going to tell you to go to the abusive spouse. Like this, we need to leave that. What is it? It's cognitive dissonance, and it's I'll come up with it, hold on. But
support them, and we invest in them. I have raised over $11 million in the past year to support the future of our party, because I don't just tweet, I don't just talk.
Stockholm Syndrome. America, capitalism, the Democratic Party, got people with Stockholm Syndrome. They've captured you, and now you think that they're helping you, and they're not. They have you captured. They're hurting you. The Green Party will help you. DSA will help you. Come over. Be progressive.
Don't be scared. I also walk the walk and I knock the knock in doors across the country, but I'm counting on you in this moment right now. I need your support. Please vote for me. Thank you so much.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I know the left is on this whole thing of like, who is the Joe Rogan of the left? I can guarantee you it is not David Hogg.
Who is the Joe Rogan of the left? We had Joe Rogan on the left. And you know what's messed up? Is Joe Rogan was non-political. He was doing all the scientists and all these talks with everybody, whatever. And then Joe Rogan got interested in politics by Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. He had Bernie Sanders come on, and Bernie Sanders just blew his mind with all this people stuff. And go check out that video, Bernie Sanders, Joe Rogan, and go check out the comments and look at all the comments. They loved Bernie Sanders. And then the Democratic Party, they did not want Bernie Sanders. They do not want progressives. They started calling Joe Rogan misogynist, Bernie Sanders, all this and that. And they pushed Joe Rogan away and called all him this. They started looking up stuff. He's racist. He's that. He's this. But Joe Rogan's a comedian. And comedians will say racist stuff as comedy. And that's just part of it. You see all kinds of different black people, Indian people, anybody saying racist things in a comedy thing, whatever. And if you're talking to your friends and you're trying to float comedy, hey, whatever's going to happen. And what Joe Rogan said wasn't even really racist. He was just saying, he said like something about the N-word. I forget exactly what it was. Look it up, Joe Rogan and the N-word. But he's talking to his friends about stuff, and you know how they like to push the envelope anyway. And now you got Tony Hinchcliffe. They say racist stuff on purpose, and now it's all gravy, so who cares? But we had Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan had that whole rant about if you're not on the team, these Latino women coming over, I don't think he said Latino, but whatever, the women coming over, refugees, they got babies and stuff. We shouldn't be separating them. Don't put them in cages, this and that. If you're not on that team, then you need to go somewhere. Like, the team is people, and this and that. Like, it was a great rant. It was a great speech. And the Democrats don't want that. They do not want a people person Joe Rogan. They do not want a Bernie Sanders. They want you to bring in the people, and then they push you away and say, get under Hillary Clinton. But if you're really a progressive, if you're really on the left, Hillary Clinton's not going to do it. She's not going to cut it for you, right? So we're going to go somewhere else. We're going to vote for the Green Party. Some people heard Donald Trump saying things like Bernie Sanders a little bit, being a populist, if you will. And so they went from Bernie to Donald Trump. Hey, if you'd rather have Donald Trump than Bernie Sanders, DNC, Democratic Party, you get what you got, right? You get what you worked for. We could have had Bernie Sanders in 2016. He would have eaten Donald Trump's biscuits. He would have taken his lunch like it was nothing. Like that, those debates would have just been laughable. We would have had universal health care when COVID came. And again, it wouldn't have been perfect or whatever, but it would have been better.
And men out there who are, maybe fence sitting on your political positions at the moment or considering leftism, I don't just tweet. I don't just talk the talk. I also walk the talk, and I knock the knock. Does that influence you?
Come knock the knock for Greens.
Are you motivated? Are you going to get out there and knock the knock for the left, boys? I don't think so.
For the left, probably. For the Democrats, not.
And I don't know. And I know that David Hogg is like the guy on the left these days.
And I haven't heard anything about David Hogg. I'm a pretty big leftist follower. This is the first time I've heard of David Hogg in the past year or two. Like, David Hogg is not the big guy on the left. I don't know where she's getting that information from, but she also thinks the Democrats are on the left and that she was in these left-wing circles back in the day, these Democratic non-left-wing, so she doesn't understand what left is. So it's just, it hurts that right-wingers hurt the conversation so bad.
He's pretty much had his political future sealed for him ever since what happened at Parkland, which however you feel about it is how you feel about it. Let me know in the comments down below. But I'm not at all surprised by this move. Do I feel as though he's going to motivate
Parkland, left wing, right wing, whatever you want to let me know. Talk to me in the comments.
Young people and show them that the left truly cares about them and men specifically, which is what
the left does care about you. Democrats don't, but the left does.
The DNC needs right now? Absolutely not. But, I'm willing to watch as he gives it his best knock. His best knock on the door. If David Hogg knocks on my door, I don't even know that I'd be bothered to answer. Not even for the content. Guys, I hate to say it, but his speech is giving Tim Walz Jr. And I do not mean that as a compliment.
We aren't going back.
But I don't seriously know if the Democratic National Committee can muster up the masculinity in a man that it would require to have men move to the left. This is a genuine question that I have. And if
I don't know about the Democratic Party. I don't care about the Democratic Party, but we had Barack Obama. They had Barack Obama, right? In 2008. Got a lot of manliness, a lot of men coming over there. I could see Colin Kaepernick joining the Green Party. So joining a left party. Like, the Democrats aren't left. No matter what man, even if there's the strongest man in the world and gets the Democrats that get all the people behind them and the Democrats win 100% of the vote, it's still not the left getting any votes. The left will still have 0% of the votes in that scenario, in that situation. So if we get a strong, not a strong man, but like, depending on how you use the term, because strong man means like the Hitler strong man, the Trump strong man, like taking over. But a stronger man that has, good values, high values, a leftist value, like a Colin Kaepernick, Cornel West, he's a little old now. Bernie Sanders, a little old now. Peter Joseph, most people don't know him. He's a little bit younger. He's a little bit, I don't know if he's younger now. He's probably like in his 40s now, maybe 50s. But like if we get a real left man who, whatever, but their whole definition of strong man and this and that is kind of, it's a little bit, I don't look at it the way they look at it.
you can think of somebody, let me know who that would be down below. Everybody always says,
like Chris Hedges is older, but he's a good man for the left. I said Bernie Sanders. What's Richard Wolff is a good one on the left. Andrew Millison, Giannis Varoufakis, but he's not an American. So it just depends on whatnot. But like, she's not talking about the left. She's talking about Democrats.
Hassan Piker?
Hassan Piker, I would call
Does that
left.
work for you guys?
Hassan Piker, I think, would be a good left-wing leader. He has a big following, but he needs to go to the he needs to go to the Green Party. I'm not sure if he backs the Democrats as much. Him and Cenk, they have their little fights and whatnot. So if Hassan wanted to help be one of the leaders, that would be great. If Hassan Piker went to the Green Party, DSA, and said, hey, look, let's make this left-wing coalition. We're going to bring everybody together. I'm going to help. I'm going to be the media leader. I'm going to be the media czar, guru, whatever. And then he starts pumping out green people, green news, green information. But then he has the connections to talk to TYT, obviously, and then have them start talking about it because they would have to because he's there. But then call Secular Talk, Breaking Points, all the YouTube people. He's big enough that they got it. They answer the call, right? So if he starts calling everybody and putting it out there, yes, Hassan Piker, you want to be the left-wing leader? You could run for president, my dude. Hassan Piker, you want to be president? Start to get in the Green Party? Call everybody. I think you might win in 2028. But if not, 2032, we can... Oh, wait. It's 2020. Yeah, 2028. I think you can win in 2028. If not, 2032, man. I guarantee you could build the party. You could help us. Call these YouTubers. Non-compete. We'll talk to you. Second Thought. Everybody. They'll all talk. Second Thought will talk to most people. He's a pretty cool dude. But all these people. Hassan, she's right. Hassan would be a good leader.
You guys let me know who's capable of being the Joe Rogan of the left.
Joe Rogan was a great Joe Rogan of the left. Let's bring him back.
I'll wait. Won't hold my breath, though.
Joe
And those,
Rogan.
my friends, were my most favorite moments from the Democratic.
But you didn't have to hold your breath at all. Joe Rogan made a great Joe Rogan of the left, and he would make another great Joe Rogan of the left right now. And he has a couple of videos that just came out where he was talking about the misunderstanding of how he is. So he's coming back to the left. He's progressive. He's not a right winger. That's not what he is. He's a people person.
Democratic National Committee election. You guys let me know how you feel about them in the comments down below.
You let me know what you think in the comments down below. And all these videos, I'm going to leave my op-ed so that you guys can look at them. I'm going to try to leave a different one in every video. I'm kind of doing a lot of these DNC chair videos. I think I'm going to try to get, I think I got about 7. I think I'm going to try to get about 10 and maybe even more. I like to look at things, like I said, across the spectrum, whole name of the channel, right? But I think it's just interesting to me to watch all these different people talk about the same thing and the way they talk about it, right? And people on that say they're progressive but aren't. And I don't understand that. What's the cool thing about being progressive? If you're not really progressive and don't want to be progressive and don't want to do progressive things, why are you saying you're progressive? Kyle Kalinske and Crystal Ball. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I know I keep calling y'all out, but there's a few more and just slipping my mind right now. But yeah, so we're going to keep doing this. I'm going to go look at a few others. DNC chair from across the spectrum.